All right. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Card Hedge podcast. I'm your co-host, Retro Hoops. Along with me, the gorgeous JD. What is happening, brother?
What's up, my man? How you doing?
Oh, man. This dude, it has been a whirlwind today. Oh, get this, yo. My son, little rite of passage today, went to go catch a pop fly. Bow. Caught him right in the cheek. Happens to all of us, man.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it
Yes,
doesn't.
it does.
Listen, I'm not gonna poo-poo your kid, but that's. Listen, you gotta get out and practice.
Actually, you know what? I take it back. It wasn't a pop. What it was? It wasn't a pop fly. It was a ball that was thrown at him. He goes to catch it, and it clips the edge of his mitt.
All right, well, that's different. That's
And then
that's
pow,
different,
catches
man.
him. Yeah, catches him right in the cheek.
If you're going straight smalls from the Sandlot, it's
Yeah.
a completely different story.
Yeah, he caught it. He was a G though. He toughed it out a lot harder than I thought he would.
Yeah.
He immediately hit the deck, grabs his eye, and of course he's crying, he's freaking out because he's never been hit in the eye before.
Yeah.
And he pops up and he's doing that whole thing, and I'm like, all right, dude, listen, I mean, your eyeball's still there, everything's fine.
Yep.
You're good. I said, deep breath, and luckily it was the end of practice, so we kind of wrapped it up and headed out. But man, I was not gonna lie to you, a little freaked out there for a second. I was like,
yeah, no, that's
that
can get scary quick, bro.
Yeah, it was a little interesting. I got a new hat.
Oh yeah,
my Astros in the postseason, a little 2022 postseason action.
Did you pay money for that?
I did. I did. Yes, I did. Wow. There it is for all you haters out there.
Wow.
I'm really...
whatever. Does that hat come with like a buzzer and a trash can too?
No.
You buy that at Home Depot? Was it like a package?
It came with a package deal. It was like the trash can and
yeah, trash can, a buzzer, and like a battery pack for your weed whacker. And
that's hilarious. Yeah. Home Depot, that is the place to be, though, man. I'll say that. Yeah, man, a lot going on this week, dude. So let's
yeah, man, there's some serious hobby stuff today. So let's get
serious hobby stuff. Let's jump into the pickups for the week. I kind of like this little
week, baby,
we got going on. So
I went first the last two times, man. I'm tired.
You want me to jump in? All right, so let's do this then. I'll jump in.
I got a lot tonight, so.
Do you?
Yeah, I got I do.
All right, so I'm gonna drop you off just because last time we got some comments about people couldn't see. Here he is, Mr. Teddy B. Now,
wow.
Here's the thing, okay? I've been picking up Teddy B. You guys can go back and look at my Instagram, check my receipts. Almost a year and a half ago, picking up Teddy B rookie cards. The night that Tua went down, I thought to myself, I wonder what the prices look like, because I haven't looked at prices ever since. I know he's moved around a little bit, but this particular rookie card is one that I've had my eye on, the Topps Platinum, and I never picked one up just because I couldn't find one in a 10. And then I saw this orange refractor, picked this up, and then there was another just chrome refractor, PSA 10, both of these PSA 10s, that I picked up for pretty cheap. Cheap, I think. And just adding to the collection that I already had, because I have quite a bit of raw Teddy B stuff. I do have a couple of ball tucked, because there's two variations to this.
Oh, yeah,
there's ball throwing, and then there's ball tucked. There's no always tucked. So I have a couple of those already, but I didn't have a chrome ball overhead, like throwing the ball, PSA 10. And they had one out there. I think it was like 20-something bucks, and I snatched it up. So those are my pickups for the week.
Nice.
Not too bad.
I got a lot here. So
what you got?
All right. Now I'm not. There's no real order to this. So
hold up.
I did. All right. I grabbed two of these.
Oh, little blue. What is that?
Zion,
Blue Velocity Zion.
Blue Velocities.
Nice. Optic. PSA 9s. Always a solid choice. Yeah, that's pretty dope.
as I mentioned last week, I broke my rule of Zion, and I said, "Oh, what the hell?" Then I grabbed
Oh, look
this
at
one,
that.
Panini Illusion
Instant
Instant Impact
impact.
rookie. I
Nice.
grabbed that off Facebook. It was dirt cheap. I was like,
Nice.
okay, grab that.
Nice.
Then I've started back on it again, and I can't believe it, but whatever. AD,
Oh, a little AD action there, huh?
he's back in my life.
So 2019, no, that's
Grab
2012 Panini
2012
NBA
hoops.
hoops. Yeah.
Uh, $18 a pop.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow.
then things last week got a little crazy on me. I have a couple guys that I talk to that are Raphael Devers collectors like myself. And guy just randomly reached out to me and was like, "Hey man, you got any vintage?" And I was like, yeah, I do." And he's like, "You want to trade?" And I'm like, "Well, it depends. Like, what do you got?" I mean, I don't have
Yeah.
anything crazy. I had a couple Mickey Mantles and like all low grade stuff, right? Like
Sure.
nothing
Sure. Sure.
crazy. So
Collector grade.
yeah. So the dude's like, "Listen, I'm going big into vintage. Let's see what you got." So I sent him everything. Um, I was able to hold on to. I didn't really want to trade him anyway, and they weren't offered ever. But I showed him my Bob Gibson rookie and my Whitey Ford rookie, just because I don't know. I forget I have them sometimes. So I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, I got these two."
Little flex.
So I traded, man, probably like 20-ish vintage cards. Um, Nothing higher than a 7.
Okay. Solid.
And that was like a 70s Clemente. And I just started, man. So I actually got all three of these. Top Dynasty. He had 3, all
Whoa.
numbered out of 5. Big Papi patch autos. So I
Wow.
grabbed that one. I grabbed this one.
Wow.
And there's another one still coming in the mail with another card. And then I grabbed this Big Papi Wave of the Future.
That's a solid insert, man.
Oh, dude, these are money. These are big in basketball. They're big in
What year is
baseball.
that for the folks that are
97.
listening?
97
1997.
Flair, FLAIR
Yep.
showcase. And these things are so hard to get in a high grade.
Oh, they are, dude. Flair is a
So
pain.
I was pumped there, and then I grabbed this auto as well. This is
Another
Topps. The hell is this? Tribute.
Big Papi, another Big Papi Ortiz
I think this
patch
is Topps
auto.
Tribute.
But
Yeah, so this
that's your
one,
guy though,
it's
huh?
yeah, I love Big Papi. He's my hero. This one's out of 10, and then in the middle
That's a button, huh?
there's a hologram. And what
Oh,
you do is you go and type that number in on like MLB.com authentication or whatever, and it tells you it's actually what game that's from, the date and everything, when he wore the jersey or whatever.
wow.
So yeah, like cool. I mean, I haven't traded in a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Back in the day, I used to trade all the time, but now like without being at a show or
It's tough, right?
whatever, I get sketched out.
So
But
I'm gonna talk to you about something I got in the back of my head about that
guys like
once we log
the
out.
kid I dealt with on the trade,
Uh-huh.
we've each bought from each other a bunch and whatnot,
Yeah,
so
solid,
it
right?
was fine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Nice, man.
But
Solid
pretty
pickup.
big trade. I literally unloaded the vintage I had built up,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of glad. Like it was a good like ended up being a really good move for me because I got a bunch of I got rid of a lot of stuff that really was kind of lost a lot of value.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then like my Mickey Mantles and things like that I traded away. They're cheap enough, like $300-$400, where I can go get them again.
Yeah, if they
Um,
pop up.
and it
Especially
and it
now, listen,
like
the market's a little, market's
yeah,
not as strong right now, right? So
yeah.
you
And
hold
it's
out for
not
a little
like they're
bit.
incredibly rare or anything like
Right.
that.
Right.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, right? Like I love baseball. I love the history of baseball. I love it all. And I love that nostalgia factor. But
Yep.
again, I never watched Mickey Mantle. So like
Mm.
I don't have any connection
You
to
have a
him.
connection to him. That's right.
But from like the time Big Papi arrived on the Red Sox to winning it in 04, dude, 04
Yeah.
was the greatest year of my life. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm like connected to that stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it's way more valuable to me than a bunch of low grade stuff that, it's
Yeah.
cool, but I can go get it again.
Right.
So
100%.
and I have to shell out thousands of dollars to buy everything. So it
That's
worked out
solid,
great.
dude. Win,
So
freaking win situation, right? I mean,
yep.
it's funny, man. You just, you're talking about that, and you're talking about how like the connections that you have, and the connections that you don't have, and those being what drive like what you want and what you want to chase, and what
Yep.
you're willing to let go of. Yeah, it's cool. I'm pretty sure you had fun acquiring that vintage, but when it came down to something that you can really get that plucks at your heartstrings,
Right.
dude, you make a move, right? It's a
Yep.
no brainer.
Absolutely. And then I was able to kind of thin out the baseball collection
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little bit,
yeah, 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 yeah.
So that was good. It was good. So
Nice.
good week
Solid
for me.
move,
I got
man.
more
Solid move.
coming. Um, so I'll save that for next week.
Looking forward to it, man. That's solid, dude. I mean, that's a good old, and you know what's dope about that is that's a good old fashioned trade,
Yep.
right? Like
Yep.
trading card trade. Like that's solid.
Which I think trading is going to, not that it's never like not been popular or anything, but
Yeah.
you know, I was thinking about this earlier tonight, and these platforms, and there's more market. I was reading about another marketplace coming out that Odell Beckham Jr. and Kyler Murray are investors in.
What?
And there's going to be, there's another one coming out towards the end of the year. Going to have like the trading feature in it, you vault, the NFT thing, the whole
Right.
nine.
Right.
I think you can trade on PWCC.
I saw something recently about that.
I'm pretty sure you can. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm pretty confident in that. Like I gotta start sending some more stuff out to at least PWCC,
To have vaulted.
and that way I can try to wheel and deal.
Mm-hmm.
What's a pain in the ass about trading on Facebook is you constantly got to take pictures. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I don't know how you store your cards, but I have mine separated into 3 different kind of like case things, like the graded stuff anyway.
Right.
It's a pain in the ass to pull it out,
Yeah.
open it up, friggin', coin your card. It's a process. I can't stand it. So I think that's what kind of hinders me a little bit on like the social media stuff. But if I just sent some stuff off to like PWCC, they scan it, they do all the work for me, and then I can just do what I got to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, enough about that.
Good stuff, man. I love it. Anytime we can get back to this idea of trading cards, it's always positive. So
Yep.
good stuff,
100%.
man. All right, let's we wanted to take a look at top movers this week, but from a little bit of a different spin.
Absolutely.
And this was your idea, and I loved it because this is a feature that I didn't know that you could do on Card Hedge, and that's pretty interesting. So let's do this. I'm gonna walk everybody through.
All right,
Let's see here. Boop. All right, so here we are. This is if you go to the Card Hedge website and you log into the app, look at card prices, and we're looking at pretty much everything here. You have the ability to filter. So we're filtering by basketball, and then we're filtering by 1990s. So we got some years here that you can break it up by. So we're looking strictly at 1990s, and we're looking at right now the top movers, top 5 movers, and of course, who better to top that list than the all-time reigning 90s champion, the 1990 Fleer Michael Jordan, number 26, sitting at the top of that list. 81 transactions in the last 7 days. That is nuts, man, that thing is still there. Where's it at in the all-time? Just out of curiosity. Look, all-time, it's number 2. You kidding me?
No, you clicked on 90s.
No, I know I'm saying in 90s. But if we look at the whole thing, it's still... it's dropped down a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, it's down to like that's like number 10 now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, it's number 10 now.
And it's It's pretty crazy, right? Now, do me a favor, real quick,
Yep.
because this is going to lead into something later on. Click on view card for the Jordan, and then all right, what's the PSA 10 at right now?
250.
250.
Yep.
Click on SGC.
130.
What's an SGC 10?
$132.
And what about a BGS 95?
BGS 95 is 136.
All right, and is there anything for CSG?
CSG 10 is 185. Wow.
Yeah, but you know what? That could be a pristine sale or something because we got to filter through all that crap. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm with you.
So, all right. Let's go back to the whole thing there. There we go. So what do we got? Jordan, Kobe, Shaq,
Yep.
another Jordan Hoop, Shaq Flair Ultra, Skybox. So, what's interesting, right, is the base cards and the Kobe is
Yeah.
another perfect example, where you see these highly produced cards just trading daily.
Yeah. It's volume, dude.
There's a lot of movement in them. There's a
Yeah.
lot of ups and downs. I mean, that Kobe Tops card has come way down.
100%.
But like it's still, if you look, dude, now do yourself a favor, click on all. Look
Yeah,
at that.
look at that mountain. Jeez.
So
if
like
that is not the hit
Yep.
the summed up.
I looked at this last night and I was like, oh my God, if this doesn't represent COVID,
Yeah.
what do I look at? Just look at that for a minute, man. Like, how high did that get up? Like 10 grand?
Yeah, it got up to no. Well, this is the base, so yeah, 10 grand.
Yeah, $10,000, and it's at what, like 940
900
something?
bucks. 900 punk. A
Dude,
90% drop, JD.
think about that, man. Like, imagine being the dude
That bought right here.
and here's the thing, though, right? And I don't know if a lot of people understand this, but you buy that card for $10,000 and it's now worth literally 90% less.
Yeah.
You sell that for 950 bucks. I mean, that's a major tax
That's a hit.
write-off. You know what
I see what you're saying.
Because you're claiming the losses.
Yep.
So a lot of these guys that came and spent all this money and are selling things for way less or whatever, like the Jordan Flair, right? PSA 10 did almost 800 grand. And now they're doing $180.
Yep, something like that. Yeah.
You take the tax hit and then you sell for a loss, so you offset all your gains. And I don't know, like maybe that's something we can get someone on that's smarter than you and I,
Definitely from a
and
tax
talk about that
perspective.
because there's a whole piece to that where if you're buying and selling cards and you keep your receipts and everything else, like you can do okay. Like the value piece doesn't really matter too much to me, because I know, like in my mind, all right, some of this stuff is going to be, you know, I'm not dropping 100 grand on a card, right?
Sure.
Unless
Right.
I hit Powerball or Mega Millions. But when you think about it, these people that spent all this money, if they know what they're doing, and usually most of the people that are spending money like that generally have lots of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna write it off or take the loss right there in their taxes to offset
Mm-hmm.
income. So it's not that big of a deal, right? If that's what you're doing. Now, if it were you or me, and we took $10,000 out of our bank account and bought that card right now, we got to figure that out. Like what are we doing? All
Yeah.
right, great. I get to take the hit, but I took $10,000 out of my account and did I hold it too long? Yeah, maybe I did. I mean, to me, if I bought it at 10 grand and the next sale was 9 grand, I'm selling it the next day, because to me, the red alert is, oh crap, it's $1,000 less. Time to move on. Does that make sense a
Yeah.
little bit of what I'm saying?
Now I'm
You're frozen.
hurting. Yeah. 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 100%. 100%. Yeah. Yeah. We're more cautious with it. We're more, but uh-oh.
Your internet's all messed up, dude.
Yeah, I know. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, yeah. I don't know what's been going on with my internet lately, man. I've been cutting in and out. I gotta try to figure that out or get hardwired up here somehow. Oh man. You still got me?
Oh yeah. Yeah, loud and
Okay.
clear.
All right. So yeah, man. I mean, it's definitely one of those situations where like we're more sensitive to those big swings, right? Because
Mhm.
$10,000 means a lot more to you and I than it does to somebody that's got a big $1 million bank account, and it doesn't really bother them as much.
Right. That's the piece here where, I think to some degree, uh, I guess, you know what, let's just get into it, right? With the grading stuff.
Right.
It to me, I understand. So I know you on your channel when you make videos, you're very pro SGC.
Yep.
Uh, I've been very pro SGC. I'm very pro CSG.
Yep.
Uh, and I don't want to say I'm anti PSA, but I don't. I can never wrap my head around why are we so, like, as a hobby or a bunch of collectors, whatever we want to term ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we in a rush to get back to the way it was? And what I mean by that is, if 90% of the hobby is only concerned about resale value, and that's what I read the comments on your video today. Everything's
Yeah.
about resale value.
100%.
Uh, if that's all you're concerned about, then we're going to end up back with no competition, massive backlogs, and back to your cards are gone for years, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And I think that the way some of us like to think is, I'm all for, like, I think it's fun speculating on guys that are playing right now. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
fun,
Right.
but I want to be able to participate in that fun. So, like,
Yeah.
if
By
I'm
having your
if I
card, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, if I'm and again, right, you could make the argument that, all right, well, if you plan accordingly and buy this stuff either beforehand and grade or whatever. So, like, if we're doing basketball, right?
Right.
If you have a bunch of Zion,
Right.
well, send Zion in May and then wait for it or whatever. But you know
Mm-hmm.
what? You got to be pretty disciplined to do that stuff, because I'm all over the place.
Right.
Um,
It
I
kind of takes
like
the
the
fun away
idea.
out of it, right? Too, right? Because it becomes a chore at that point, right? Like it's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. And I like the idea of sending my cards in and having them back within 7 to 10 days or whatever it is, right?
Right.
Um, you can, in that amount of time, and as long as it's not football, because I think football, the risk of injury is just so much higher than
Yeah.
all the others. Hockey too, right? But in basketball, you can pretty much send your cards in a 7 to 10 day period and ride a hot streak of a player and
Oh, you
cash
mean
out.
like if you were to get it back in 7 to 10 days?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, for
you
sure.
know? So I get, Jason Tatum gets hot on a Monday. I send out his cards on Tuesday. He's still tearing it up 3, 4, 5, 6 games later. I got
Mm-hmm.
my cards back. I can take advantage of that.
Yep.
I like that.
Yes.
Like,
100%.
that resonates with me. If I do that same thing with PSA, I think from what I've seen everywhere, we're looking at 75 days or so ish. So that's still 2 months,
Yeah.
not maybe even a little bit longer if you factor in the weekends and holidays. And we're
Mm-hmm.
headed into the holidays. So it's going to be even longer.
Yeah.
So I send out in November. I'm not getting it back till after the new year.
Yeah. That's
You
tough.
know, that's
Yeah.
tough, man.
It leaves you no flexibility within the hot streak, right? It doesn't allow you to
Right.
capitalize on a hot streak.
Correct.
If that's your MO, right? If that's the main thing you're looking to do, you can't do that with PSA, right? So you have to be strictly you almost have to strictly be a collector, PC collector
Yep.
to be able to submit with them and be able to keep it and just hold it. You have to be like a long-term hold with PSA.
Yep. Yep.
That
And
flip is
like the
no
other
longer
thing
there.
too, right? Like we showed both of us showed tonight PSA slab cards.
100%. 100%.
I'm not opposed to buying PSA slabs.
Yeah, neither
Uh,
am I.
in fact, I'll buy. I don't care who it is. It's just there's so many more PSA graded cards to choose from
Mhm.
because of that's what you do, right? But I don't know. To me, like I look at what SGC has been able to do over the last 2 years, and you got to tip your hat to them because
100%.
they totally screwed up when Pete did that video thing way back when,
Yeah.
but they learned from it, and
Not only
and
did they
they
learn from it, but they leaned into the screw up. They were like, "Hey
sure
guys, we screwed up."
right, yeah,
Right?
they
And
owned it.
actually came
Yep,
out and came out to the people that they're serving and said, "Guys, we screwed up. We
yep,
screwed
my
up
bad.
and we have to
Mhm.
fix this, so bear with us."
Yep,
And I think the market did. I think they accepted that and they were like, "You know what? Yeah, you guys did screw up, but all right, get your stuff together. We'll come back in a couple of months." And then they reopened up at that $30 price point when everybody and their mother was shut down,
yep,
and the market paid them back, I suppose, or stuck with them.
yep. And
So
I've noticed, like what I've noticed over the last couple years here, you're gonna get on average like a 60% return. It started, you were lucky if you got a 40% return.
mm,
So anybody that's in investing would tell you that a 20% increase over a couple year time is
solid.
tremendous.
That's beating the
Like,
S&P.
yeah, like crazy.
Yeah.
So from there, right, I look and I say, then there's always, and then someone mentioned this in the comments on you, it was either your video or I saw it somewhere else, but the players sometimes, depending on the player in the slab, the prices are pretty damn similar. If a card's 200 and a PSA 10, you can see a 200 SGC sale, or you can see a
Mhm.
185 ish.
You're not that far
Like,
off, man.
no, at that point you're literally splitting hairs.
Right.
Uh, so like I don't. I would like to see all any grading company that comes to the market. I'd like to see at least three options really be solid choices for all of us.
Mhm.
Because going back to that competition piece, if you don't have competition, that's what we had, right?
Right.
Because BGS basically just stopped doing whatever, and PSA pretty much stopped doing like innovating, and they both got complacent, and people
Mhm.
just kept sending their cards and sending their cards and they built up these massive backlogs, and then what, right? So now you're at a spot where there's four pretty reputable companies that provide us with different tiers of pricing and this and that and slab features and
Is there really 4?
well, if you look
'Cause
at
I'm
it, you
assuming
got
you're throwing BGS in there, right?
I'm throwing BGS. BGS has got a big fan base. Like there are just some loyal dogs to BG. Like I'm not going to send anything to them. They're way overpriced. Um, but for me, like if I had to, I was thinking about it earlier, and I'm like, $18 a card at a 199 value. All right. Then I factor in shipping. So if
Right.
however you do the math, you're up over 20 something, close to probably 24ish maybe dollars a card, depending on how many you send.
After it's all said and done, yeah.
Maybe not 24, maybe that's a little high. Maybe let's just go like 20,
Going
right?
even $20. Yeah.
But all right, you get it back and then this and that. All right, so there's nothing that says though you get a PSA 10, it's worth $200.
Right.
So if you get a PSA 10 and the card's only worth like $60 or $50, ooh,
Yeah, exactly.
like, like, like,
Yeah.
ooh,
Yeah, you just
uh,
that's right. You
right?
kind of you played yourself, right?
Yeah. So like, your half of your money is in grading
Is it
fee
grading?
and
That's right.
shipping.
Yeah,
Okay, and then
100%.
when you factor in eBay fees and everything else, you lose 10 to 12% there.
Yeah,
What are you at?
yeah,
Really? What are you
yeah,
at?
peanuts. You got
Um,
nothing. Yeah, and you
so
waited 2 months for it, 2.5 months
right,
for it,
right. And there's
right?
there's there could have been potential spikes that you may have made an extra 20, $30 on a card
Right.
versus it's sitting in a whatever quality check too,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I gotta wait. But
yeah,
like
research.
I totally I don't want people to think that this is just a pro SGC or pro whatever video or segment, because it's not. And I totally understand what people say about the resale value. Like I see it. Uh, my experience and practice has been that if I'm grading cards with SGC or CSG, I know that if the card's a $200 PSA 10, it's 100 to 125, maybe 150 if I get lucky with the right buyer card with SGC or CSG. But
Mm,
I factor that in going into it, and I'm realistic. If I'm
right,
thinking, oh, I got a 10 and it needs to be, I'm selling it for what PSA got. Well, then you can get frustrated, and
right.
the thing sits there. And someone made a comment on your video about, well, the SGC slabs sit there for weeks at a time sometimes, and yep, they do. But when there's like 95-1 ratio of PSA 10s
Yeah,
to
of course.
SGC 10s, you just have more options to buy
Right.
PSAs. I mean,
Yeah.
so I get it. Like it's all good, but what happens when that becomes like 94-2 and then 94-3 or whatever? And it may take a number of years for that to happen, but there's nothing that says it can't happen, you
Right.
know? And there's nothing that says tag grading can't become the number one dog. You just don't know, So
I still haven't looked in the tag. I keep getting I'm still getting messages now where they're like, "Hey, have you looked in the tag? Have you looked in the tag?" And I just have
yeah,
not.
I saw someone on Instagram posted their grading report from tag last night, and I went through it. It's actually pretty freaking cool. There's a lot of information in it. I'll
Mm.
tag you on Instagram in it so you can
Yeah,
check it
yeah,
out.
do that.
It's but for me, here's my question, right? What am I gonna do with that?
Yeah, I
What
mean,
am I so like for
what's
real
the
though, right?
value at the end of the day, right?
So here you go, right? eBay, front pick, back pick,
Yeah, yeah.
and then am I gonna post my grading
Rating
report pick?
report? Yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right. I never thought about that, but you're absolutely right. Like, this is dope, but
So
what am I doing with this?
what do I do with it? And
Yeah.
then it becomes, right? Say I send in 20, 25 cards. Now I've got 20, 25. Now it's not like you're getting the paperback. You got to do the
Right, right,
code or
right.
whatever it is. So
Tied to
like
yeah, it's
that's
tied
cool.
to it.
But like if if that doesn't help you sell the card,
You're so right, man, and I
does
never even thought about that. That's a
does
good
there
point.
really need to be all that detail?
'Cause I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. When Arena Club came out with their grading thing, and then they took that TGT concept of the grading report and all that stuff and just kinda took it to the next level. And then when I started seeing the beta testing for all that, and then started seeing, like, all the information that they were giving and, like, how like like you like to mention the Hubble telescope, you know, with the zoom and all that stuff. Like it I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And I was like, this is awesome. But I think I was so romanced with the thought of how awesome it was that I never thought to think about, well, what am I doing with this? I
Right.
mean, how does this help the value of the card? And now that I'm thinking about it, and now that I'm talking about it, I really don't even see how it helps the company, because all you're doing is opening yourself up to scrutiny, right? Because
Right.
everybody and their mother is Monday morning graders, right? When you get your
Yep.
card back, you got a 9, you swore to God it should have been a 10, and you just think they're idiots. Now you've just given those same people who are scrutinizing the grade a tool to go in and go, well,
Yeah.
why did this get a
Yeah.
9? Why did it get a 9? Oh, because of the edges. Let me see. Let me Hubble telescope these edges.
Yep.
Oh, they're crazy. They don't even know what they. It kind of
Yep.
opens you up to a little bit of scrutiny. And once again, dude, you're making me think here. And I never really thought that all the way through. I was just too enamored with the sexiness of the report.
Well, and that's because again, like I said, I was looking at it and I got like you did at first. I was like, wow, this is freaking cool. But then
Yeah.
like I kept doing this, right? Here's my phone, and I kept scrolling and scrolling and scrolling
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
report. And I was like, all right, what am I doing with all this? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
am I gonna put a tag 10 and then put you know,
Like, here's a grading report.
right, like, I don't know, like, and I'm not really trying to knock them. I'm just like,
No,
as
no,
I'm
no. But
talking this out with
yeah,
you,
we're talking it out. Yeah.
what's because all right, PSA is plain Jane. You get a
Yeah.
1, a 2, a 3, a 4. Every
Yeah.
once in a while, they throw in a half grade up to 8.5, and then other than that,
Hospital wristband labels,
you
nothing
you get a
fancy.
9 or 10.
Yeah.
SGC, you get a 9.5, and CSG, you get the 9.5, and people are like, "I don't know what to do with that." What do you mean? Price it like 20% higher than a PSA 9 and move on with your life.
Yeah.
It's a higher graded card. It's not
Right.
that hard here.
Right.
Uh, but like, what do I don't know. I don't know. Like sometimes I think like, don't reinvent the wheel
Yeah. Yeah.
when
I know where you're going with that,
and,
right? Like,
and
innovation for
maybe
the sake of innovation is kind of like, you know, what are we doing here?
like maybe they did some type of market research and did a bunch of like beta testing, or they did, I don't know, man, but I've never ever seen all right, yes, I have seen. I'd love to know why this card got what it got.
Mm-hmm.
But once you know that, what are you doing?
Right.
That's
Because at that point,
and
once
I
you know that, you can either agree or disagree.
right,
And then that's it. That's the end of the utility of that product, of that piece of the product. The utility is gone after that.
right,
Why did I get this grade? Oh, I
right.
see why they gave it to me, because of the corners. All right,
Yep,
whatever. And
yep.
then that's it. Because the guy who's gonna buy it after you, that's how much he cares. 0.
Yeah. And
Right?
like on the card I looked at, it was a PMG. It was pretty cool because they like whatever light or whatever the corners, like blue light, infrared light type
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
and they had all
The
four
inverted.
corners, and you could see the chipping, and you could see everything. So it's like, all right, like I it's an 8. I get it.
Yeah,
I get why they gave me an 8,
right.
and I like that piece, right? Like, okay, it justifies the grade, but
So is that what
now
they're doing? Is that what they're doing? They're making you feel better about the grade?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, to some degree, I think yes, because when you have those images that show you the like the detail that they have and what they're looking at and scoring and whatever. All right. Like I
Right.
get it. But again, I just go back to if you didn't know why that card got an 8,
Mm,
does that affect the value of that card?
no.
No.
And but
What
well, here's
affects the
yeah, I will say that if you're a new grading company, probably,
but
because
if you're
you almost have to like prove why it got an 8 to prove that your grading standards
just yes,
are
yes. All right, I'll give you
on
that.
par,
I'll give you
right?
that. But let me ask you this question to counter that. What is the single most important thing about grading cards?
Oh man, the single most important grading
The single, what
thing
does everybody say over and over again? What's
is
the
to add value.
yes? These companies, they like to me. I say to myself, if I'm starting a grading company tomorrow, how do I increase the value of a card in the card hedge slab?
Mhm.
How do I get people to say, "Oh yeah, like that's that company, whatever." That to me, and maybe that's what people want, right? Maybe they want that, and tag takes off, Arena Club takes off. But when we've watched a company like SGC, Beckett has given you subgrades for years, right? How crazy in depth do we need to get here?
Right.
Um, to make it worthwhile, you know?
Yeah.
Um, are you justifying $25 a card because of all the stuff you're giving? You
Right.
know?
Right.
Uh,
It's it's
it's
it's like putting lips. I don't want to say lipstick on a pig because that's a
no,
negative
but
analogy. But
yep,
you're almost trying to add value to something that doesn't need value added to it, right? The reason why
sure.
PSA is, and listen, I've said this before, I'll admit, the reason why PSA is number one in the market is because of how long they've been in the market
Yep,
and how they have established themselves as the foremost authority in grading cards, right? There's prestige to that, right? The
yep,
reason why SGC has been able to make so much headway in the last 18 months is because SGC didn't add subgrades. SGC didn't add a report card. They didn't add anything to what they're doing. They just simply reminded people that listen, we've been grading cards for a long time here. We
right.
know what we're doing. They
Yep,
they pushed the idea that they were experts in what they do because they were
yep,
already considered to be the experts in the vintage area, right? And they said, "Hey, listen, guys, we're doing modern stuff too. Like we
right,
we can grade all this stuff. We are
right.
experts all the way around." And that's how they have
And not
have
for
been able
nothing,
to
the
push,
modern
right?
stuff is way easier than the vintage stuff,
Oh,
right?
100%.
Like
100%.
when you're to some degree until like Prism's, 73 parallels later, you don't know if you have
Yeah.
the purple upside down scope or the purple, sideways riptide scope thing,
The
whatever,
riptide.
because they all look the same and they're all serial numbered to the same. But like it's pretty hard to judge, you
Yeah.
got to know what you're doing when you're doing tobacco cards and all these other
100%.
pre-war
Yeah.
cards that just don't come up very often. And then other, whatever. But my
Yeah.
so like I look at it like this, man. I'm staying the course. I'm very happy at $18 a card now.
Yeah.
I've been very selective about what I've sent to SGC at 23. It's just it's
Yeah.
getting it was getting to I like to send a lot of cards
Same.
and at $23 I send 20 cards. It's over $400.
It's a lot of money,
Uh
dude.
a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I was dropping it down to like 10 cards and then I was down to like 5 cards. Uh there were months I didn't even send. I was
Right.
sending a CSG.
Right.
I'm very myself as a hobby collector, whatever you want to call yourself. Uh I'm very sensitive to price. Like
100%.
I am 100% sensitive to price. So to
But I think
me,
the other thing too is that you and I would say, and this is probably a little bit tooting our own horn here, but I think you and I represent the vast majority of collectors, right? Because very,
yeah,
very
this is
price conscious.
yep,
We're trying to make our buck stretch.
yep,
We like buying, things that we trade for the big
yep.
cards, right? Those are the kinds of things that people that are financially conscious are doing. And there's a lot of that coming up because financially, the markets are going to be kind of, the winter's coming,
Yeah,
right? Winter's
yep,
coming. And so
yep.
you know, a lot of people are going to start doing more tradings like what you did today for what you showed, you know, and wanting to wheel and deal and haggle and, you know, do all that kind of stuff. And, you know, that $18 price drop when you're talking the price drop down to $18 when you're talking about 50 cards that's a big drop. It's a couple $100.
Here's a question for you. How long until we're back below $15? How long?
I'm saying the end of Q1 next year.
That's a pretty good guess. I'm
I'd say
thinking
Q1 next year.
Yeah. I would say by the start of baseball season next year, there'll be a $15, you know, if not
Yeah.
cheaper.
Q1, Q2. Yeah. That's
You
solid.
know, I just, you know, to me, again, it goes back to you gotta have business, right? Now, oh,
Mhm.
here's something, right? Let me ask you this, man. Do you really think that PSA, like I the gem rate numbers from last month, they graded 1,000,000 cards, and like the other three combined barely did 200.
Yeah.
I still think there's a pretty significant backlog.
There has to be, JD.
I thought it
There
was
is no
gone,
way
but
that they are getting in 1,000,000 cards a day.
no, man. Like,
Absolutely not. I am
and
telling you, here within the next maybe 2 or 3 months, there is gonna be a significant drop in the amount of cards that PSA is grading, and I'm saying it's gonna drop below the I mean, they're not even gonna be in the 6 figures of what they're putting out. In the next
I
3
mean,
months, they're not even gonna be in the 6 figures.
realistically, right? And I'm just spitballing here, people. So don't crush me on the comments on this because I know there's number experts everywhere. if if you went on a 10-to-1 ratio, right? So there's 10 PSA 10 slabs of the same card for every SGC 10 or BGS 95 or CSG, whatever.
Mhm.
If they each, you know, SGC did what, like 60 something thousand cards last month, I think it was.
Oh, SGC, yes. Correct.
So
55, 60, something like that, yeah.
by the math, PSA should be like in the 600,000s or a little less, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like if you
So
do the yeah. I know what you're saying.
I don't know if that's making sense if you're listening to
It
this in the
does.
car or whatever, and you're maybe you get it, maybe you don't. But like the math, you can kind of get a general idea. Like if you do an eBay search of items sold in a PSA 10, and again, it's very high level because all kinds of random crap pops up.
Right.
But you get an idea. I mean, I think the last time I actually looked at it, it was like 64-to-1 ratio of what I was looking at of like
Mhm.
PSA 10s to SGC 10s of a card. A million cards, man, means like either people were just sitting on stuff and you know, woo, but I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
It
It
doesn't. The
doesn't make
numbers
any
don't
sense.
the JD, the numbers don't add up flat out, right? I mean, you can't tell me that they are bringing in 1,000,000 cards a month.
No,
Right?
like
Because ideally, if you have a backlog, right? And again, this goes back to what I've said before, right? There is such thing as a healthy backlog, right? You have the number of people that work for you. You have a what they call a tack time of what they can output, right? Every week they can do X amount of cards. This group of people that we have here, these full-time employees, they can crank out a certain amount of cards a month, right? And ideally, you want to have a couple of months
of
worth
work.
of
Yeah.
healthy backlog, right? And then you start to monitor how big of a capacity you either bring it up or bring it down based on your backlog, based on how much
Correct.
work you have. Now, here's what I've heard, some rumors that there's some layoffs going on. There's going to be some cuts. Listen, the economy is about to be in the crapper in the next 6 to 8 months.
It's pretty damn close, man.
You know what I mean? Oh yeah, you're probably right. It's probably sooner than that, next 3 months or so, right? It's things are going to get really wisp. I think the Fed just hiked up rates again, right? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that's going on that's really going to affect everything, not just the collector market. Everything's about to get affected. And when it comes down to whether me and you are gonna feed our kids or whether they're gonna buy that card to share it on our podcast
Right.
every week, screw that
Right.
card, right? I'm
Right.
buying bread for my kids, you know?
Right.
So
And
that's
you
the
got
first thing that's gonna go.
and over the next couple months too, right? We've got like kind of like some false sense of security because we're entering the holiday season and people
Right,
go nuts
right.
during Christmas time and they charge things that they normally wouldn't or
That's
this or
right.
that. So
Yeah.
the numbers are going to be skewed for a couple months. So I'll be interested to see what are the numbers in February of 23, right? What
Yeah.
does March look like in 23?
Mhm.
If you're taking in 1,000,000 cards, that's over 33,000 cards you're getting in a day.
Mhm.
I don't think the biggest bulk submitter in the country is
No.
doing that in a
No.
month.
No way. No
That's
way.
that's that's like a full time. You have like a retail place. You've got retro hoops bulk submission, and you got like a line of
You know
people just
who who we need to have on. And hopefully somebody tags them, or if not, I'll tag them. I'll reach out to them because they're great guys. I did a
Kevin
video on one
Garnett.
of their no, well, yeah, I'd love to have Kevin Garnett on. That's a dream a guest for you, huh? You know what, buddy? I'm gonna try to figure out how I can do that.
I've messaged him on Instagram. I
Did you
message him
really?
once a week. Yeah, yeah,
Once a week.
yeah.
That's
I'm like,
solid.
hey, he doesn't read it, so at one point he's gonna read it.
At one point he's gonna go, "Who the hell is this crazy
Yeah, what the
guy?"
hell?
No, I'm talking about the guys from gotbaseballcards.com.
Oh,
Uh,
Joe Davis
Joe.
there.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep, yep, yep. I did a video on one of his videos. He did a video on SGC, and I made a comment. I think I shared it in the community tab or whatever.
yeah.
And he actually reached out to me and he was like, "Hey man, thank you so much for doing the video. Anytime that you want us to come on or you want to come on, whatever,
That'd
like
be
we'll
great.
figure
We
it
should
out."
have him on.
We definitely
Joe, if you
should,
want,
man.
Joe, here's the deal, man. When you watch this, let's set something up. Have your people contact my
Have your
people, and we'll
and we'll
get
do
something
lunch.
set up.
Yeah, dude.
I'm
I
just
I mean,
curious though, man, because
I
like,
really enjoy his videos, man, because he's been in it for so long.
oh
He's
god,
one of
yeah,
the biggest group
yep,
submitters,
yep,
you know,
yep. And
because they do.
and they
Good.
these guys know,
Yeah,
like what the deal is. Uh, the rest of us leaving comments on videos, we're all speculating.
100%.
We're it
Yeah,
goes back to like you guy, yeah, yeah.
yeah. For
It
as
only
much
took
digging as we think we can
33
actually
days,
do, we don't know
guy.
nothing. We know nothing, honestly,
Nothing,
right?
nothing.
Guys like
We
Joe,
don't.
guys like Bobbles, who does tons of submitting every week. I mean, and even Bobbles, I don't think he's doing like the type of volume that Joe and them are doing, but he's still
No.
a relevant piece as well because he knows, right? Because we can
Yep.
look at his numbers and extrapolate and kind of figure out what's going on there. But it's still,
Yep.
these guys are the ones that are in the mix, and you and I are just sitting here talking crap at the end of the
Right.
day.
But I kind of get it to a certain extent of y- you're going to spin the narrative however you want to spin the
Sure.
narrative. It's just like politics, man.
Right.
The liberals do their thing, the conservatives do
Conservatives
their
do
thing,
theirs. Yeah. Yeah.
and the truth is somewhere in the middle.
Exactly.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's the same thing here, and I I say this: if you like to grade with PSA for whatever reasons those are, by all means, continue to grade with PSA. If it's a
Do you, boo boo?
BGS thing, knock
100%.
yourself out. If it's
100%.
SGC, knock yourself out. If you're doing tag or you're doing arena club or you're doing whatever, great. Knock yourself out.
100%.
If that's what makes you happy, great. Like yeah, there you go, man. Like
Almost
it's just it's
1.1 million cards,
yep,
JD.
yep. I just can't for the life of
21%
me.
increase from the previous month. 22%,
I can't.
21% increase.
Yeah. I look at Beckett. They went up, and Beckett's stuff is always highly inaccurate, but a 55% increase, and they only got to 63K. Yeah. So to me, this is still backlog. This is all still backlog.
Look, 1 million in July, almost 900,000 in
Yep.
August, over 1
A
million
million.
this month.
Yep. So to me, like that's all
Look,
backlog. There's still a backlog.
look,
There's still a significant
absolutely,
backlog.
absolutely.
And you
There's
know what? Like you said, I'm okay with that. But again, JD, personally, I don't want to wait around for my cards.
I'm
I
with you,
don't
bro.
I don't have the patience for it. Uh, I want my stuff back. And to me, I can
Agreed.
do that with CSG and I can do that with SGC. And I'm not like spending crazy money to get my cards graded. And there's some value put in, especially in SGC. There's
Mhm.
value put into the slab. I think CSG is coming, but I think a question. Maybe we need to do a poll on your channel
We
of
should. What's the poll? I'll throw it
like
up right now.
like adding value to the slab. What like how does it get there? Right? Like how do people determine, all right, this is valuable now? Because all it is a piece of plastic, same damn card, you know? How does the PSA 9 versus the SGC 9 versus the BGS 9 versus the CSG 9, the HGA 9, the tag 9. I mean, Christ, we can
Mhm,
keep going. It
mhm.
sounds like Woodstock. Um, how do you, if you're not PSA and you're one of these other companies and you're in control, you're the CEO, how do you increase the value of your slab? I'd love to hear from the community
Yeah,
because
that's a good point.
we're a community of experts, right? We all are in some shape or form. We all, whether we are or we aren't, we all think we
Right,
are.
right.
So you're the CEO of BGS, SGC, CSG, HGA, whatever.
Mhm.
How do you increase your company's slab resale value, or however you want to word it?
Yeah, so look, here's we're gonna throw it up right now. If you guys aren't following me on Retro Hoop Breaks on Instagram, we're asking the question, and the question is, how does a grading company add value to their slabs?
I'd love
Right?
to know. I'd love to know what people think. I think it actually would be pretty cool. Uh,
Or here, I'll ask it a different way. What could a grading company do to increase the
to
resale value of their slab?
Bingo. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
What
Now the brains are
could
working.
a grading company do to add value? No, to increase the value,
Increased. Yeah.
increase the resale value of their slabs.
And those of you that are listening right now, just keep in mind this doesn't come out till Saturday. It's Thursday night we record. So this is going to pop up on YouTube and wherever else now.
Right.
Uh, so by
Oh no,
next
they,
week
they
we'll
they
be
come
in.
out the same day.
Are you going to wait?
Yeah, the video comes out Saturday, and then the video and the podcast come out at the same time.
No, dude. I'm talking about the question you're posting.
Oh yeah, it's yeah, it's right now. Yeah.
That's live. So just so you know, it'll be there. I'm curious, I really am, because I think it's a pretty cool exercise where let people sound off, and maybe someone sees it and they say, "Oh, you know what? That's actually not a bad idea. I didn't think about that. Uh, that could work." You know,
Mhm.
I don't know how you do it. I mean, to me, the big thing everybody complained about for the last year and a half was their cards sitting at PSA. And maybe those guys and girls have made the switch over to SGC because they've gotten their cards back. They're happy with the service and this and that. I still think that the the PSA lore, like, I don't understand why it's so strong. I just don't
Mhm.
get that. Like, why are people legit 100% PSA all the way.
Dude, some people like, I don't know. Some people
It's
like
just weird.
it's a tribal thing that we have as humans, right? Some people like
Yeah.
Hunt's ketchup, and some people like what's the other one?
Heinz.
Heinz. There you go. Hunt's and Heinz. There you go. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
I mean, some people are Burger King people, some people are McDonald's people. They're both burgers.
Right.
I mean, Whataburger is obviously the reign supreme, but
Yeah.
But
if you think about it, though, right? And that's a great point. And maybe we should end it on this because we'll go for 3 more hours.
Absolutely.
If we were only supposed to do things one way, there would be no Burger King versus McDonald's.
100%.
There would be no Chevy versus Ford. There would be no so like
competition, baby.
Competition is what we want as a consumer because it ultimately makes the cost cheaper.
Yeah. It's like what I said today in the video, right? I mean, SGC just dropped their prices, but I started off the video today when I announced that, or when I kind of announced the story. It's like, listen, guys, this is amazing for us, the collectors, because when the companies fight it out, we are the ones that win.
Yeah. Yep.
At the end of the day,
I mean, that's why I think maybe another 6 months you see another price drop. I think these again, I'm just guessing. I don't know. I'm not sitting there in these meetings. 6 months, see how it goes and see where the economy's at in 6 months. I think the first few months of 2023 are going to be really telling about what's going on.
Agreed.
And also, like I said earlier, it's interesting that there's still marketplaces and these companies coming out to market.
Yeah.
I think it's just another kind of thing of people. Technology takes time to build and get right and whatnot, but how do you draw? I'm just. I think it's a fun exercise, man. Like, how do you? We go through it with Card Hedge, right? Like, what can we do to get better? How can we get people on the site and using our product? We love our product. We think it's great,
right?
And we need to tell that story better. And I think hopefully this podcast starts to get people to understand, like, we're normal guys.
Yeah, 100%.
We're like the average dude collecting cards, and it just so happens we're involved with a company that hopefully people understand is trying to help them. We're not trying to dictate to you what
we're just trying to educate, man.
Buy.
We're trying to give data and educate. That's it.
And at the end of the day, data is huge. So
huge.
Anyway,
absolutely.
Anyway,
good stuff, brother. Man, let's end on one thing here. One question: if you could give a number on what you think the items graded for February 2023 would be for PSA, what would be your guess right now? September was almost 1.1 million.
So what is that? October, November, December, 5 months from now.
5 months from now, correct.
I'm gonna say
I'm gonna write mine down just so people don't think I'm taking yours.
I'm gonna say 535,000.
Oh, you are so generous, bro. 150.
Oh, all right. Now that doesn't. So in that 1.08, is that including the TCG crap too?
That includes everything, bro.
Right. So there's definitely a scam
going
on in the TCG shit right now.
There's something going.
Yeah. There's that market is 100% being manipulated right now.
But you know what's
I don't
crazy,
know a damn thing about trading like Pokemons or whatever, but man.
So what I do know is that about a year ago, there was this huge push for graded TCG stuff. About a year ago, roughly. And it's never come down. So
right. Yeah,
We'll see, man. We'll
it's,
see how all this pans out, dude. But it's man, what a good combo, JD. I think we killed it on this
hey,
one,
thanks,
bro.
man. It was a pleasure chatting with you again, as
We'll
always.
we'll continue to pat
I
ourselves on
appreciate
the
you
back.
putting my Twitter handle up there too. I just saw that. I was like, wow.
I
got
gotta put your Instagram on there too. I
my
just realized
what?
I don't have your Instagram up there.
That's all right, man. I have 1 million followers. I mean, really, everybody knows me.
Yeah. You don't need more,
So,
right?
no, I don't really need any more. So,
oh man, well, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Those of you who are listening on the podcast, remember we are now on iTunes podcast. We're on Google and Stitcher. And that pretty much plugs out to all the other outlets. So the majority of our listeners on the podcast, I looked up the analytics the other day, are coming by Stitcher and Apple. So that's great. Good to see you guys are showing up. Please leave us a comment on the podcast. Leave us a review if you could.
yeah.
And then also just leave us a comment on the YouTube if you're watching us there. Follow me at Retro Hoop Breaks. Follow JD at JDS Sports Cards on Twitter. I'm Retro Hoop Breaks on Twitter and Instagram. And then always check out Card Hedger, cardhedger.com. That is where we at least know what we're talking about half the time because we see all the data from there. So check that out if you guys get a chance. Let us know if you guys have any questions, comments. We always I went to check comments before we started the video. Not very many questions. So hopefully we start getting some more questions.
Yeah, hopefully.
So
I
always a pleasure, brother. We'll talk to you
man,
soon,
for
man.
real.
Have a good week. And we'll,
have a great it's Columbus Day, or what is it?
Is it?
Indigenous Peoples Day, or I don't know. It's Indigenous Peoples Day now. So
there you go.
Indigenous Peoples Weekend.
We'll celebrate all the indigenous peoples then.
I got a soccer tournament, so whatever.
Nice. All right, brother. Take care. Thanks everybody for watching.
Later,
Peace.